又唔知玩乜，試下啦。去創造角色喎。喜悅計劃咁又特技精靈。OK， 食完㗎。不死族藝人，不死族精靈，不死族人類，正喎。但係咁個女，不死族仲有波。男女有分別嗎？有嘅着裙啊，我着裙差唔多，但女性係仲高身啲喎。以數費因，哦，呢個係幫你創造咗個名。精靈都算正常嘅，唔得，哎呀，你接受唔到。正喎，我魔法到喎，好卡嘅動作，唔好咁早瞓，等陣我返去睇陣，太遲了。咩先？戰鬥法師、牧師，應該係畫暗木嗰隻係嘛？你可以轉死靈法師喎，召喚師，個人按摩，召喚化身，持續10個回合，被法師，分入到戰士烏蠅內。哇！呢個都好型，成個女神咁樣喎，都係玩女啦。騎士，哇正啊！畫劍長到，正到爆炸，好難揀啊！變形先係咩？變成隻雞。哦，變埋自己好正，死火好難揀。諗起唔開心嘅回憶，被轉職嘅導賞。其實應該係玩賊嘅人類，應該係認人呢？雞爪。法師嘅啫，巫師同戰鬥法師同。 秘法師有乜分別？秘法師係玩元素，戰鬥法師係近戰型嘅法師咯。咁巫師咧？巫師咪即係巫師啊？唔知喎，唔知你個巫師同秘法師有咩分別？但係有幾個好型喎，實觀下佢，使用釘頭嘅勇士，釘頭錘嘅勇士。變形識唔識得綠衣啊？我揸住個唔可以長嘅矛，着住海教袍，咁個掣。遊俠咧，但係我話呢隻 game 應該係玩風箏，玩女人啦。我最靚件衫係呢個，佢鬥篷好靚，披風啊仆街。戰士嗰套嘢好靚，秘法師又好正，但係好似野人喎，秘法師係。女巫啦，即係術士咯。正常應該話冇事喎，仆街，唔知玩咩好添。呢個，Off Go。點樣整啊？西嘢喎又。竹子數字係咩㗎？顏色咯。一係最好喎，想講。
Glory is mine. Greet the Reaper for me. Try again.
正。好膠喎個頭。天賦力姿態，咁搞你啦！戰爭，仲有啲咩可以教？哎呀，睇下先，技能，隔空取物咁滯。即係冇得教呢個，冇得教技能嘅喎。睇下先。 加埋魔法爆擊喎，野蠻人，生命護甲，玻璃大炮，如孤狼不兼容。有孤狼咩？孤狼喺邊啊？大方塊鏡睇唔到。啊，見到睇到，正喎、更加要裝啦，係嘛？咁我名應該要改成孤狼希要咁樣，只可以單拖得一個 partner 啫。好想買啊！好想用啊！哇！打中文，有。我係 copy 嘅喂。
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. The Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead, I became part of their story.
So, it wasn't a dream after all. I don't even remember them strapping me down.
Hello.
Not a very chatty fellow, are you? I don't even remember them strapping me down.
No known associates. In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time with the others.
咩㗎？我執到啲咩？詭異的罐子。使乜啫？我唔需要隊友，話晒都係孤獨。
Ah, you're up. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. There. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be... You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. No, you're alive, and you're having a conversation. You are on a ship, of course.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good girl, why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those source spells of yours? See what happens. Oh, do go on. I won't hold it against you. Promise. My, aren't we a meek little lamb? Perhaps I needn't have collared you, so let's just leave it on, shall we? Because, to answer your question, what the call for your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the...
廢話，多事之秋。
Oh, who?
好正喎！醫療鬼，正嘅。
I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
係唔偷嘢喎？
Did I leave my calipers?
In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time with the others.
一直都假設原力係文明社會嘅良性嘅組成部分，我哋去原之
Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he already here?
好，但係一開始都冇乜特別啩，都冇藏咗神經㗎啦，出。
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around.
Good gods, there's been a murder here.
Behind the magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own.
捉人
Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does. You surprised? You're one of them. You know what sorcerers are capable of? Whoever did this found a way around their collar and killed a man. Small ones this time, thank the gods. We'll find out who did it, one way or another.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. We'll find out who did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Not with that collar on, you aren't. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Not in here, it isn't. You let me know if you hear anything.
My, these smelling salts are strong stuff.
It seems as though there's a pattern in the blood flow. That can't be natural.
Boom!
Who? Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
Chino! 真係窮喺度，啊醒到啦嗱，咁搞笑，咩咁咩爛拼子，我嗰次垃圾濕晒先，搞錯，木桶裏邊竟然有錢。
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
面嘅，你喺動物保護添，我完全唔知你講乜喎喂。黐咯，咁細俾一個金幣我攞喺度執都有啦，水袋。我可以擒晒佢。
Name? Well, you aren't here on my list. Scrammy, we're trying to... Like I said, you aren't on the...
Do you know Losa? She's a really good singer.
Ah, there you are. Wife.
Wife.
Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this how very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madam, what?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the...
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and get...
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. You take care, though. Nope, trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. As quickly as they came, the clouds...
Good luck, Chief.
One of us would kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Oh.
Get to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
You one of them? A divine...
A broad dwarf sits totally... He raises an eyebrow as...
Listen up, Ghetto. You hear that?
How dare you classify this slop as...
The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates. The groaning of wood from floor to ceiling. The...
And?
D&D
I've never dined on anything less than a dozen horse dinner.
The fellow cocks his ear, listening. He cocks his ear to the other side.
Anticipation. She senses something. I'd hold on to my breeches if I were you, mate. That's all you hear, though. Listen close. There now, just like that. Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of...
There! You heard it, didn't you? I knew it! I knew it! Aye, this is good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're... Pardon my beard. That means... if we've been travelling for... Yes! Only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
OJ 说 yes， 这是一支非常传统的 RPG。OJ 说你玩落去同玩 D&D 差不
The
多。
dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily.
That'll be all. Thank ye kindly, Ghetto.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about...
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lips, and doesn't acknowledge you anymore.
That's enough.
喊到添。
Well, well. What have we here?
The lizard looks you up and down. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook? Oh, goodness, no. Don't. On to the second question. Can you knit? Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin once more. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's... The very basics, then. So, 3 questions asked. As per your own testimony, you can tailor and groom, but you have the taste buds of a dung beetle. Still, beggars can't be choosers. So without further ado, I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave. Of course you accept. Mine wasn't an offer, it was an order. Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort Joy.
Never thought you'd end up.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me. Meanwhile, the Magisters...
Turn out rotten, Ben Mest. Your kind always hung closest. I'm busy watching for clues, so...
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this...
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again. He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer
pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many moons ago. Isn't that...
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword, and now he's Johnny Big Pants. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties. No.
No.
The dead man, Finn, is it? I'd no business with him.
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back at him with pointed intensity.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The Joy, I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since Bishop Alexander runs the show. Wonder if we'll get to meet the ringmaster himself. Easy now. I might think the same, but Vic here will blow a blood vessel if he hears you talking like that.
What are you conspiring about over there?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet. And then...
Name!
Name.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook. He scowls at you as he stows the notebook back in his voluminous robes.
Away with you, at once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of
What?
Well, there has been a murder.
Ifan raises his eyebrows.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
She shakes her head.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice. Deciding fates. Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
She eyes you quite seriously.
I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, you lay awake thinking of someone back home. You were reminiscing about the things you used to do together. Of course it is. The truth's right there, skin deep. But don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Got this one.
The woman keeps rolling her dice.
Oh, you can get NPC 喎。
As soon as the Inquisitor gets you,
多咗個圈我着啦。
Here's the register, ma'am. Good, good. You faring okay so far? Of course I do. Seems Voidwalk can dog your heels like a shadow. You'll see. You head on in now.
Oh, you can
those bubbles tried on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
Do you?
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the...
She turns her head and looks...
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts Source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
哦，嗰個係邪惡嗰條友。
Precisely.
應該點打？原力爆發，擊倒。我咪 game over 咯？咦唔係喎，未死喎。
What's happened?
哋一件裝備都冇。哦，有錢。想打落去啦。 自由嘅。
Oh! What? What happened? Must have been the turnips. You dare...
The lizard's eyes close. Ifan lies motionless, curled on the ground. His eyes flicker open, but he doesn't...
Lucien. Lucien.
Ifan cries out. Then his eyes... The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is... The dwarf lies in a... You hear a faint thud. The dwarf lies...
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
It's no use. Your words do not see...
The dice roll darkly. They're rolling for me.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
仲有第二條路行咩？哦 ，sorry， 呢度有。其實我應該要爆門咧，入邊有啲地圖嘅嘢。黐線佬！幾時啊？完全冇明顯施法，施法。打天光啫嘛。 可唔可以撳到？唔得。需要放棄啊！偷咗水刀。
Not long before this thing snaps into splinters.
講咩啊？竟
Damn! That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards.
潮濕。
Thank gods. By divine grace, who was that?
He eyes the collar circling your neck and
Another sorcerer! Even if I knew how to rip that thing off, I wouldn't. Some crazy banshee comes screaming through, and now we got void bugs swarming up top. Saw it coming, I did. Sorcerer mu...
Yeah, he's just single.
Go on then. Fine.
Bishop Alexander. If Lucian were alive, what would he think of his son's divine order?
呢個叫潮濕。自然喺度啦，就可以知。 定更加跟住做。太重啦！
Children and dwarfs first, just like the old stories say.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there. We need to help them.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
But wait! There's still people down there!
As the boat rocks downward, a prayer to Lucian you once heard passes through your mind. The law, you clench your eyes and brace for...
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Orivan.
差唔多瞓覺喎，12點幾㗎啦已經。
Those Voidwoken made short bloody work of the ship. Am I the lone survivor? This must be Fort Joy. I thought the Order would get rid of any trace of the old Source King. This statue must be 1,000 years old. Wonder how much longer it'll last.
唉，師傅，聽日先講。